Are you mocking me?
Are you mocking me?
Stop it, you just did it again.
He's trying to copy me.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today we have another crazy new standard deck from Blooming Early Access. This is probably one of the decks that I was most excited to dig into. This one's called Mockery, and the idea here is we're using Mockingbird in combination with Iridescent Vinelasher, because what's better than one or two Iridescent Vinelashers? 3 Iridescent Vinelashers, and we've got a bunch of other cards that kind of support that archetype, support those synergies, and some other ways to potentially recast Mockingbird as another Vinelasher later in the game, or return Vinelasher to our hands so we can replay it with offspring cost. And the idea here is just go as wide as possible with as many Vinelashers as you can. That way, we don't need necessarily a whole bunch of lands to enter the battlefield in order to kill our opponent. Just one land nukes our opponent's face. It's crazy. We actually pull it off in some of the games. Before we break down the deck, make sure you like the video if you haven't already. It's you guys liking the video every time that has helped this channel to grow so quickly. We screamed right past 10K subscribers. That's all thanks to you, so thank you so much. Smash that like button. Let's get to 20. I'm ready for it. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. Tons of crazy new deck techs from Early Access are on the way. I will be streaming a 12-hour marathon stream for Bloomberg's launch over on Twitch tomorrow at the time of the posting of this video. So, if you want to check that out, see a whole bunch of limited and maybe a couple new brews, head on over to twitch.tv/quarantinedcapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. But with all that out of the way, let's just break down this deck. Alright, so this deck is kind of bananas. What we have here is a Sultai sort of ramp, but not really ramp deck. We're focusing on a new card called Iridescent Vinelasher. This is a 1-mana 1/2 Lizard Assassin with a landfall ability. Whenever a land you control enters, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. Now, this is really cool in things like Outlaw decks and stuff, because hitting for a damage, you are targeting, you do get to trigger, committing a crime and stuff like that, which is really cool, but that's not the direction we're going in this deck. In this deck, we're trying to get as many Vinelashers onto the field as possible, so that every single land that we play is getting multiple triggers, and we just bury the opponent in damage. It has Offspring 2, which means for a 3 mana cost, you're going to get 2 copies of this onto the battlefield, and you're going to get 2 pings every single time you play a land, or just a land enters under your control, which can be really, really insane. And we're going to double up on that by playing Mockingbird, one of my new favorite cards. This is 1 blue and X for a 1/1 flyer, and you can pay as much mana as you want into X, and Mockingbird will enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield with mana value less than or equal to the amount of mana spent to cast Mockingbird, except it's a bird in addition to its other types, and it keeps its flying ability, which is pretty awesome. So the idea is, it's the total cost you paid, not the cost of X, that warrants this. So, if we just pay 1 blue mana, we can copy a 1-drop and make a copy of the Vinelasher. So that's a really easy way to just get a second Vinelasher onto the battlefield. And there's a few other things we can copy with this as well that are going to be pretty cool. But we've also got Mistbreath Elder, 1 green mana for a 2/2 Frog Warrior, and at the beginning of our upkeep, we return another creature we control to its owner's hand and put a +1/+1 counter on it. If we have no other creatures to return, we have the choice of getting to return the Elder if we want to. Sometimes we might want to do that just so that it's back in our hand and not forcing us to put other creatures back in our hand later in the game. Or sometimes there are certain decks that will use this because they have things that care when you cast a creature, so you can just return the Elder itself to recast it so that you can get certain triggers. We're not really focused on that. We're using the Elder to return the Vinelasher to our hand so that we can replay it and replay that offspring cost so that we can make another token copy. So if we can just keep bouncing the Vinelasher to our hand every turn and replaying it, we get an extra token copy every time we do it, which is kind of crazy. And this guy keeps growing with +1/+1 counters to get bigger as well, which could matter in the long run if we decide to swing in for damage or if we need to block. Now, we can also return the Mockingbird to our hand, so if we have a better target for the Mockingbird later in the game, maybe we didn't have a Vinelasher out when we originally played it or whatever, we can always just bounce the Mockingbird to our hand and then replay it and make a copy of whatever we want on the battlefield. And since the Mockingbird can target anything on the battlefield, it doesn't have to be something under our control, it's possible that our opponent plays a really big bomb, and maybe we're like, oh, we really don't need an extra copy of Vinelasher right now, we really need the same bomb in play to keep up with the opponent. You could always return the Mockingbird, recast it as that. So there's a lot of versatility in how these three cards work together. But we've also got Awaken the Woods. 2 green and X, create X 1/1 green forest dryad land creature tokens. This can be a mana enabler to just give us a ton of mana, ramp up to a ton of mana to do a ton of stuff in a turn if we do it that way, or we can play it after we have a couple Vinelashers on the field and use it as a win condition where we just get a bunch of lands entering the battlefield at once because the tokens count as lands, and then they just get a whole bunch of triggers on the Vinelasher and we win. So let's start at the bottom of the curve and look at what else we have in the deck. We've got 4 Jadelight Spelunkers. This is another really good card to refill our hand with lands so that we can keep making our landfall drops, but it can also kind of scry in a way and dig us to the cards we need if we need to find a Vinelasher or what may. And what's cool about the Spelunker is because we're playing the Elder, we can just play this for cheap and then later on return it to our hand with the Elder and replay it for all of our mana to get even more value out of it. So being able to replay a Jadelight Spelunker over and over and over and having the versatility of the X mana cost to you know, only play it for how much mana we need to play it for every time we return it with the Elder can be really powerful. Moving on to the 2-drop slot, we've got 4 Aftermath Analyst. This is another way to just straight up win the game if we have enough Vinelashers out. If our graveyard is full of enough lands, we just sack the Analyst, bring them all back, trigger all the Vinelashers, and go completely ham. We also have the ability to mill 3 cards when it enters, so if we just need to get stuff into our graveyard, either because we need lands for the Analyst's ability, or there's another card that we'll get to that wants things in the graveyard as well. This is a good way to self-mill us 3 cards and kind of get more of that. And it's another thing we can return with the Elder to recast to be able to mill 3 more cards if we want to. So there's a little bit of extra value there if it's our only best, you know, Elder target. We've also got 4 Pillage the Bog. Because we're playing tons of lands, it's really easy for this to be especially good in this deck and be able to find us pretty much whatever we need. So if we just need our win condition, we need our Vinelasher, or maybe we need an enabler, we have plenty of Vinelashers, we just need an Awaken the Woods. Pillage the Bog is a really good way to just find exactly what we need to close out the game and make it happen. Moving on to our 3-drop slots, we've got 4 Nissa Resurgent Animist. This is going to make it so that all those landfall triggers are not only hitting for damage with the Vinelashers, but also generating us mana so that we can play even more stuff and just go completely off the rails. Very, very important part of this deck. It's also worth noting that on the second trigger in a turn, you're going to be able to find another card, whether it be a second Nissa or an Aftermath Analyst, off the top and put it into your hands. So there's a little bit of value as well in this, but we definitely mostly use it for the ramp, and it can be absolutely absurd when it lines up properly. The last card I want to talk about is Honest Rutstein, and this is kind of the glue that makes the whole thing work. 3 mana for a 3/2. Cards in your hand, creature cards in your hand, cost 1 less to cast, and when he enters the battlefield, you get to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So not only do we get him down and then make everything cost less, we basically get a free X on Jadelight Spelunker. We get to play Iridescent Vinelasher with Offspring for only a total of 2 mana now instead of 3 with that cost reduction, which is awesome. But we also use it to get back key important cards. So like if we play a Vinelasher on 1, we can just, they kill it early because it's a huge threat, and then we can just get it back on turn 3 by playing a Rutstein. And then when we do get it back, now we've got enough mana that on the next turn, we're not only playing the Vinelasher, but we're paying for the offspring cost as well, and we're getting 2 instead of 1. So not only do we waste our opponent's removal, but we're getting multiple copies of a Vinelasher that would have been stuck on the board as just 1 copy if they didn't use the removal. So there's some really interesting lines you can line up with Honest Rutstein in that way. But he's very versatile. You can use it to get back a second Honest Rutstein and create a loop. You can use it to get back a Nissa that they killed. You can sack an Analyst and then use the Rutstein to get the Analyst back so that you can sack it again. You can also use it to get back a Mockingbird so that you can make copies of whatever. It's very versatile. It helps the deck a lot. It reduces the costs of things, which is awesome. It's just exactly what this deck wants, especially with all the self-mill that we're doing. We can get key cards into the graveyard and then get them out of the graveyard. So in a way, Honest Rutstein can sometimes sort of act almost like Pillage the Bog and be like a pseudo tutor, being able to grab one of the things that we milled, like our Vinelasher, and get it into our hand so that we actually have the cards that we need in order to win the game. So deck's really, really cool. We've got 4 Fabled Passage, which is finally back in Standard, which is awesome. And in addition to that, we're running 3 Escape Tunnel. We don't have the new Capenna fetch lands anymore in Standard, so we can't use those. But honestly, I'm thankful as all hell that rotation has come. So even though I'm not happy to see those lands go, I've small price to pay, right, to be able to move past those 4 sets. It's a long time coming. So 3 Escape Tunnels helps us round out our fetch lands, our sack lands, so that we can have enough ways to get double triggers off things like Nissa and Vinelasher. And then we're just running 5 forests, 2 swamps, and 2 islands as our basics. We are going to run 1 Restless Reef because it does have the ability to make a player mill 4 cards when it attacks as a manland. So we could self-mill ourselves and sometimes maybe find the card we need. Maybe get a Vinelasher into the graveyard when we have a Rutstein in our hand, that sort of thing. So Restless Reef is important as just a one-of. And then we've got some dual lands just to make sure we have our colors consistently. 4 Blooming Marsh because we need both black and green early, 1 Underground River, and 2 Yavimaya Coast as pain lands just to make sure we have just enough of the colors that we need. And that's pretty much it. The deck is super fun. I don't necessarily think this is the final version of a deck like this, but as far as a jumping off point, the deck did pretty well. It won some games, and there's definitely something here. There's the ability to just go completely crazy with a ridiculous board state in this deck, and I'm excited to see where this deck goes in the future. But for now, the games were wild. Let's check them out. Do we keep this? This kind of looks bad. We have no blue. Or, I mean, we have no green. Alright, this looks a lot better. We'll keep this. Put back Awaken the Woods. That seems fine. And we can play the Vinelasher early, because if he kills it, we get it back with Honest Rutstein, and then we replay it with the Offspring. Yeah, Rutstein is kind of perfect for this deck. Shannable MTG. Let's go with, we could Jadelight Spelunker for 1. Kind of tempted to Pillage the Bog, though. What does he have for 2 mana at instant speed? I don't think I want to attack. So let's just Pillage. Worst case scenario, I get a land. That's not going to be awful here. Ooh, another Rutstein. Let's Mockingbird, though. I like that. No attacks. I'm worried about a flash creature. That was the very first thing I said, Finn. When we were talking about making the deck. It was literally the very first thing I said. Alright. We're going to play this. Let's see. Nothing in the yard. I guess we just jam Nissa at this point. Whole lot of shaking going on. Okay, this looks good. This looks good. We're gonna Fabled Passage. Oh, I should have played the Vinelasher first, actually. That's okay. One small mistake. We will fetch a blue source. Get a bunch of triggers. Make a green mana. And then, let's see, we have 3 mana now. Still nothing in the yard. Copy you. Pay 1. Seems pretty good. No attacks. Alright, so we have 4 Vinelashers on the field. Our opponent's going off with bats, though. Try that. I feel like they always forget that the Mockingbird keeps the flying. All of the landfall. Green. I could play the Rutstein. I think it's probably better to do this. And then we'll do this. And we'll do that. That's a lot of triggers. That's an awful lot of triggers. Oh god. And our opponent scoops. Let's go. No black mana, but we're going to try it. We will keep it. And we don't have to worry about playing the Mistbreath Elder on 1 and it being a waste, because we don't have to bounce it to our hand. It's just a way to get him to waste removal early, potentially. Alright, we're going to start with the coast. Actually, I probably should have started with the passage to get black, huh? Yeah, I should have started with the passage. I saw passage as a 4th land, and I immediately defaulted to, well, we'll play it on 4, so we get it untapped. Maybe it's better, though. Maybe we just play Nissa on 3. Swing with the Elder. Oh, we're just going to have to return Nissa, aren't we? Yeah, that's where this starts to falter. Alright, life gain triggers for Amalia. Deep Cavern Bat on top. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think it'll be okay. but it's unfortunate. We're gonna find a swamp. Make a green. I guess we don't really want to play Rutstein yet, right? I guess we just play the Analyst. And we'll do some surveilling. And no attacks. So then we can just return the Analyst to our hand, and that's fine. We can recast it and mill 3 cards again. Finn, you're timing yourself. Sounds good. Ah, now we're gonna have to bounce the Nissa again. He did that on purpose. He totally did that on purpose. Black. We'll go like this. Make a green. We've got a few different options here. I think we play the Rutstein. Get back an Aftermath Analyst. No attacks. No Vinelasher yet. But we're trying. Yeah, but Lotus isn't standard legal, 𝐿𝐴𝐴𝐻𝐸𝑅. This is a standard event. Alright, lots of triggers. That's fine, that's fine. I guess we bounce the Rutstein. We'll play Pillage. Really? No Vinelasher? Wow. Still no Vinelasher. That's crazy. That is crazy, man. Wow. Okay. Black. We'll sack it. I think we're gonna fetch a second swamp actually, but we'll make green. And we'll play this. We'll do this. And then we'll do this. Uh-oh. Alright, we just figured something out that is not super great. So if we get the cost reduction from Honest Rutstein on the Mockingbird, that actually ends up affecting what it can turn into. So like if we're paying a total of 2 mana, but we actually paid 1 less because of Rutstein, and so we only actually pay 1, we can't copy something that's 2. So the Mockingbird cannot get a cost reduction from Rutstein. which is kind of gnarly. Yeah, you could do it one higher, but that's kind of my point, is Rutstein's cost reduction, non-bows with the Mockingbird, where it doesn't do anything for the Mockingbird at all. You still have to pay exactly the same amount of mana you would have to pay to cast a Mockingbird to copy whatever you want to copy. Which is kind of a bummer. Well, this has flying and you're a dummy. I guess we can pretty easily just do that, right? So we'll kill the Deep Cavern Bat and get our Awaken the Woods back. I can't believe we haven't seen a Vinelasher yet, though. We got one in the graveyard now. We need to bounce the Rutstein and get it back. Lunar Convocation just completely popping off. Alright, here we go. Rutstein. Vinelasher. Vinelasher. For only 2 mana we get both, which is sick. And then we Mockingbird. Actually, do we even need to do that right now? We could probably wait until next turn, right? Yeah, we don't need to Mockingbird yet. Let's do this. Let's just play the Analyst. Get more stuff in our grave. I guess just no attacks, right? Another... Is that a replay? Go for the throat. The Analyst, which is fine. Smashy, smashy. Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot all about Amalia having that ability. We were actually so close to popping off there. Like, insanely close. We Mockingbird for 1, make another Vinelasher. That gives us 3. And then we Awaken the Woods for at least 3, maybe 4. Which gets us, like, 12 pings. But also a bunch of mana from Nissa. So that we can do more stuff. This is not a great opening hand. We're gonna mulligan it. This is better. We're gonna put back a Swamp. Start with the Blooming Marsh. Play the Elder. It's frogs versus hogs, boys. Are you ready? Frogs versus hogs. Bramble familiar. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Alright. Now we need to find our boy. We did not find our boy. We did find an Issa. I'll take it. Let's swing 3. Raccoons. We're going to Coney Island. How dare you call me a raccoon? Don't you mean Garbage Man's talent? Don't you mean Garbage Man's talent? Green. Let's find a forest. Not a 3ist or a 5ist. A forest. Make another green. That gives us 3 mana. And we can use that 3 mana to either play the Spelunker. Spelunker's probably best. Analyst isn't awful. Actually, we could do Analyst and Elder. That seems kind of good. That seems pretty alright. Rutstein and Vinelasher in the yard. Now we just gotta dig and find them. Now we just gotta dig and find them. So we're gonna play Spelunker with X equals 3. Nix the Spelunker. Maybe we do want to keep the Pillage. No, we'll nix the Pillage. Draw a land. Play a land. Make a green mana. Use the green mana to play an Aftermath Analyst. Put more stuff in the yard. No attacks. Bramble Guard Veteran. Here we go. Hunter's Talon doesn't line up super well with that, though. Because that requires you to sink mana into an ability, which doesn't trigger Expend 4. Four, 5 Vigilance. Good old 4/5 Vigilance. Do a double block right here. He'll kill our Elder, probably. That's fine. That is quacktastic, okay? Absolutely quacktastic. We're gonna go like this. Add green. Then we're gonna go... How much land do we have? 1... Only 2? Only 2? Alright, maybe that would be a waste then. We'll do Awaken the Woods for 5, I guess. And then we'll go like this. Put more stuff in there. And then we'll go like this. No attacks. That's a board. That is a very big board. We just don't have our payoffs. We need Rutstein or Pillage or Vinelasher. Any one of those. Any one of those would be fine. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's do 7. That leaves us 3 mana. I'm trying to get to... I mean, I'll keep it. I'll keep that. That's fine. Let's go green. And we'll go Analyst. I'm an idiot. Tell me I'm an idiot. I put the thing I wanted in the yard with the Analyst. It's gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long day. Hey, what's up, Strategic? Welcome to the stream. Season of Gathering. Oh god. Draw a bunch of cards. Get some counters.
Everyone in this room
It's true.
is now dumber.
It's true. Just need a damn Vinelasher. Just give me the Vinelasher. Ow. That was rude. Uncalled for. Unnecessary. Just every Aftermath Analyst, because who needs anything else at all? You know? Who needs anything else? Clearly not us. Clearly. Can we even play more? Like, we're running out of cards, bro. Oh, there goes the card we needed. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. It's got 1 blocker. Blocks the 4/4, right? We get through for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I think at this point we just have to do it. I'm done screwing around, man. Puts him at 1. He either kills us next turn or he's toast. Let's play another blocker, sure. Why not? Blockers are good. Who needs our deck anyway? The game's over one way or another. Just every Aftermath Analyst. So crazy. So crazy. Bramble Guard Veteran. It's pretty good. Skip the queue? Why is Poozy taking away my coffee? I really need some right now. He just wants this game to be over, I think. Alright, well, we're just gonna block stuff. Oh, it's got trample? Does everything have trample? No, it doesn't. So let's do this. 'Cause who needs Aftermath Analysts? Die. We're just gonna win with Forest Dryads. Who needs a Vinelasher when you have Forest Dryads? You know? It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. I don't think I can copy the Restless Reef. I was thinking I could copy the Restless Reef. But I can't! Give escape. Escape tunnel gives it unblockable. That's how we're winning this game. That's how we're winning this game. Not with Vinelasher. Nope. With escape tunnel. Okay. With escape tunnel. Ugh. Mana looks awful here. But we have all of the cards we want. Let's mulligan. This is much better. We can make this work. Just put back the Awaken the Woods. Alright. We'll keep this. Play Vinelasher on 1. The key is we want him to kill the Vinelasher early, because then we Rutstein, get it back, and then cast it again with Offspring. I agree with you, Foozy. Do we Spelunker for 1? I think we do. I think we do. Pillage the Bog. Pillage the Bog. I think we keep it. Alright, Vinelasher is back. We'll hold up the Spelunker as a blocker, potentially. Vinelasher, nice. I think Vinelasher is going to be one of the most used cards in the whole set. That's my theory. So we're going to start with this. Only cost us 2 to cast it with Offspring because of Rutstein. And then we'll jam you. And then we'll play the Elder. No attacks. So if he kills the Vinelasher, we can bounce the Rutstein back to our hand to play it to get back the Vinelasher. And if he kills the Rutstein, well then we just get to bounce the Vinelasher back to our hand with the Elder and replay it. Either way, we're making even more craziness. Laughing Jasper Flint. Oh god. I'm jealous of your slapping food, Finn. Alright, kills the Elder. Kills the Elder. We're gonna Pillage the Bog first. in case we find something like this. And then we can play it with Offspring. And then we can Fabled Passage. Oh, baby. We will fetch an island so that we can activate the Restless Reef if we need to. And we'll ping for 4 again. That's a whole lot of pinging. No attacks. He gets to take a lot of stuff. 3 lands and a Pillage the Bog. But I think we got him dead next turn. I mean, obviously it depends on what we top deck, but at the least we have Restless Reef. We'll see. See what he does. Pillaging the Bog. We go down to 13. Plays another Vinelasher, sure. Oh boy. We're pillaging that bog, boys. What are we getting? I don't think another Vinelasher is going to do it, as cool as it would be. We need a way to trigger it right now. We could get Awaken the Woods for 1. I don't think there's any way we can trigger it right now with this specifically. I think we just gotta grab the Analyst and hope that'll be enough that we can hold on one more turn. Mockingbird, Analyst, Spelunker. Well, it doesn't have the green mana to use the Analyst's abilities, which is nice. You could Spelunk to find lands to hit me for an extra 3. Mockingbird could do some stuff. Mockingbird, my Rutstein. I can't see the graveyard, so... Yeah, there's a glitch right now on Arena where you can't look at people's graveyards. Not even your own, apparently. Which is crazy! Decided to play the Mockingbird as a Vinelasher. But is that enough? Is that enough? He can probably play a land post-combat, right? Wait, now it shows me the graveyard? So weird. So weird. Alright, so we're gonna go like this. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna go like this. He can do 4 at least, so I can't take... No, he can probably do 8. Well, no, if he could do 8, then it wouldn't matter. If we kill 1, he can only do 6 at most. So we can take 1 damage. I think we have to kill the other one, right? Do it like this. That kills 2 of them. And then we block here. Chump block here. Take 3. I think that's correct. That lets us go to 1 and keep some stuff. And now we just need to get a little bit lucky. We keep our Analyst, we keep 2 Vinelashers. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! It is what it is. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.